like you're running the show. What are you doing?
I didn't know I had started recording yet. Anyway, hey everybody. It is another episode of the Good Work Show. We're excited because we got a good friend to the nonprofit community, but also to us and to the marketing community. Adam J. Walker is going to join us, and he wears many hats, except for I say he wears the same hat because he always has a black fedora on, but he has so many different things he's in. It's going to be great. And for you nonprofits, or for those of you who are into marketing or some combination thereof, definitely want to tune in and listen to some of the resources that he's going to be sharing with us in just a few minutes.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to another nonprofit marketer because they know the joys and what's the opposite of that?
It's unjoy.
Unjoy of doing marketing. And you know, we have so many stories to tell, so it's interesting to talk to another like nonprofit storyteller and talk about how, you know, what the pitfalls are for marketing, but then also the successes and stuff. So it'd be great to talk to Adam. So for folks like us who have our podcast, Adam, I don't understand how Adam does what he does.
I know. He's got a lot of things going on, and he does it really well, but I'm like, man, every time I talk to him, he's doing like 15 new things.
Yeah, so great guy to talk to, great resources available from him for folks who are in nonprofit marketing or just any marketing. I mean, it's all translatable information, but he's, you know, we love when we get to talk to somebody who's bringing really great content to the table that can help the community. So this show is kind of less about, hey, this is a nonprofit and what they're doing. This is kind of a resource for all of our nonprofit friends who might be looking for ways to additionally raise the profile of the mission work that they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, good show. We hope you all are doing well in COVID. And, oh wait, I didn't show my thing. Oh yeah, I got something. So it was recently, oh, y'all can see that I don't match.
I don't move from my spot.
Yes. So anyway, so just so the people on the Good Work Show know, I wear workout clothes every day, except for on the top. And today is like one of my favorite t-shirt days, but that's why I normally don't match. But it was my birthday recently, and someone very, very, very kind got me this pineapple. And it is not just an ordinary pineapple. Like, this pineapple represents something very well. So it says Room Rater 10 out of 10. It's an award that I got for my my Zoom room, and it's a 10 out of 10. So I feel very, very, very special. And it's actually, you could use it as a drink holder too.
It is a glass. Yeah, it's a cup.
Yeah, it's a cup. So you could have like the straws over there, but you can.
Then you're supposed to be able to put the cup. You can put it on the top as a stand.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. I didn't.
Open it up.
I know that part. Okay, hold on.
Oh yeah, you have to open it up, and then the top becomes.
Like this.
Yes.
It's like a
chalice.
Yes, like a chalice. I cannot believe, like, this is you just.
So now you know who bought it, because obviously.
Right. So thank you to Trenise for hooking me up for my birthday and acknowledging that I have a good Zoom room. She also has some good Zoom rooms. By the way, it's going to be her birthday too soon. Like, your birthday's coming up. So what are you doing?
I mean, nothing.
Oh, well, that's pretty much.
I will probably be making use of my Zoom room to hopefully, I don't know, I guilted my family a couple days ago. I'm like, where are the details for my Zoom party?
You should let your nephews plan it.
I was assured that they were coming, so I don't know, we'll see. But no, I'm just taking some time. So take some time off and not answer email at this point and not participate in any other work Zoom calls. So at this point, that is vacation.
That I'm telling you, like, when I took a couple of days off, that was exactly, it was great. It was great not to have to, I didn't even opened my laptop. Like I didn't have it, it was fantastic. So
This is, vacation in the times of COVID. This is,
yeah.
that's what a vacation looks like. For me, it's coming on the other side of my sofa. So not on the desk side, but on the front side, and leaving my computer back there and just, hanging out there. Obviously there'll be a Publix cake.
Yes, of course.
From somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's that. But so yeah, happy birthday to both of us. We get to celebrate within weeks of each other.
Yep.
But yeah, so hopefully y'all will stay tuned, hear what Adam has to say. It's really great. It's really great content and resource for everybody. We got a chance to participate on his podcast a little while ago. So we're excited to be able to return the favor and help share some of his resources with you. And right after this, you'll see Adam.
All right. Hi, audience. Welcome back to the Good Work Show. We are excited because we got an old friend with us, Adam Walker, who is a marketing guru. So we really love him. He loves nonprofits. He works for a nonprofit, and we're just excited to have him on. So, Adam, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been quite a while since we were on your podcast, right? So Adam's got he's like official audience. Like he's got the podcast, like Mike, we just
I know.
To our laptops. He's like an official podcaster.
I'm just sitting here talking loud enough that you can hear me on my laptop microphone. So
if it makes you feel better, I sort of swiped this from the office on my way out for COVID. That's really what happened. So yeah, worked out well. Yeah.
Nice. So Adam, catch us up on what you've been doing. You are now the Chief Marketing Officer for TechBridge, which we know very well. We've had TechBridge on the show a couple of times, and they're a partner of ours at Goodwill, but would love for you to share sort of what you're doing now and what TechBridge is all about.
I'd love to. Yeah. So like you mentioned, I ran a digital agency for 10 years. We were acquired in 2019. And then with COVID and all the kind of craziness there, I sort of found myself looking for some other opportunities and stumbled across TechBridge and was able to sign on there and be the CMO and really start to grow something there. And so it's been really amazing. We're growing a team. So TechBridge is all about eliminating generational poverty through the innovative use of technology. So we help other nonprofits with technology. We work in 4 pillars: homeless support, hunger relief, social justice, and workforce development. And so we work with Goodwill in North Georgia on workforce development, which is pretty fantastic and really exciting. When I found that out, I was like, oh, I know those people. They're great. They're amazing groups. So groups of people. So so it's really been amazing. I also do a little bit of work with a friend of mine's agency, just kind of helping them out, helping them grow a little bit. I still host a technology podcast talking about technology news called Tech Talk Y'all with Sanjay Parekh. If anybody wants to stay up to date with the current tech news, I've got a nonprofit marketing newsletter on my website at adamjwalker.com. And I also host the Real Pink podcast, which is the national official podcast for Susan G. Komen. So I got a couple things going on right now. It's been a lot of fun.
Just a few.
Yeah. Adam wears a lot of hats, except for he always wears that same one.
That hat.
Hats.
That's it. Right. I've got a black fedora. That's the ticket right there.
Yeah.
Signature. So talk to us a little bit. So you mentioned COVID, you've mentioned technology, and we're sitting here on a Zoom call doing something that we've had to transfer into kind of this technology space. So talk to us a little bit about even kind of the work that TechBridge may be doing as it relates to bridging some of these new gaps that have emerged when it comes to COVID, and even some of the disparities that have become more visible, that kind of stuff. How are those things working?
Yeah. Well, so I'll give you a teaser for something we're working on that's not available to the public yet. So we're working with Hands On Atlanta. They're also good friends of ours, and we're working to help to produce high quality training for the parents and the students of people that are having to learn virtually, because there's a lot of parents, as you know, that just aren't very technically savvy. And some of these tools that we feel are ubiquitous, that we feel are really easy to use, really aren't as easy to use as we might think. And so sometimes they just need some training. And so we want to see what we can do to help bridge that gap in particular. So we're working with Hands On Atlanta for that. We also did a lot of work with different nonprofits around like virtual implementations, helping them communicate virtually, helping them communicate to their people virtually. So we do a lot of work in those areas as well. So with the, Microsoft and all those various platforms as well.
Nice, nice. So, we talk a lot about nonprofits on the show, obviously, because that's sort of our wheelhouse. What are you finding as you've been working with nonprofits for a while, even, in helping them build websites through 48 and 48 and all of that? What do you find that is what's the biggest challenge that nonprofits find when it comes to technology? Because I know obviously budgets can be a concern, smaller teams can be a concern, but really what's the biggest challenge that you've seen over the years?
So first, I'm glad you mentioned 48 and 48. I'll put in a small plug there. So I did co-found 48 and 48 in 2015, and that's an organization that builds free websites for nonprofits. So if you're a smaller nonprofit, small as in under a $2 million budget that needs a website, check out 48in48.org and make sure you get signed up there. So as far as what the biggest need is, first of all, it's telling the nonprofit story. And, I think this is probably way better than I do, Elaine. So telling stories is difficult. And what ends up happening with a lot of nonprofits is they do so many good things. They just want to talk about all of it. And so you ask a nonprofit leader, like, oh, tell me what your nonprofit does. And 15 minutes later, they get done talking and you've kind of half fallen asleep and you really still have absolutely no idea what they do. And so that's really the biggest problem, is being able to in a very short amount of time, summarize and categorize what a nonprofit does so it'll stick in someone's mind. The next thing is just taking the time to consider technology and to consider marketing, because a lot of nonprofits kind of have this attitude of, oh, well, that's marketing. I don't have time for marketing. I'm trying to do this good over here. When the reality is, a lot of times if a nonprofit will back up, will stop and slow down and take the time, if they did good marketing, they would actually grow much faster and help far more people than if they ignore marketing and just continue doing the work. And so sometimes we have to take the time to sort of build the machine, build the engine that drives the car to get to where we want to go, rather than just trying to run down the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're speaking our language right now. So, I mean, hey, for the marketing team, we get it. But you're absolutely right. I mean, there's so many complexities with the nonprofits that we have on the show. They do so much great work, but streamlining that message and that story is highly important. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's critical. And I find very few nonprofits are able to tell a compelling story in a short amount of time. Yeah. And that's the key.
Yep.
So if there's nonprofits out there listening and they're thinking, well, I may have a one-person marketing team, or I don't have a marketing team or whatever, are there resources? Are there things that folks can be tagging into to help them? Because if somebody's out there and they have a nonprofit that's focused on, oh, I'm just going to make this up, children's nutrition, they may,
right.
They may not have ever taken writing classes. They may not be able to know how to tell those stories. So are there resources? Are there places to go that these folks could be looking out to be able to get that kind of support?
Yeah. So, I mean, shameless plug, I'd say, again, check out my website. I've got a lot of stuff. I write about this stuff a lot. So adamjwalker.com. I write about it a lot. I podcast about it. I'm actually going to be working pretty shortly on a YouTube video channel all about nonprofit marketing. There's actually a lot of free resources out there from really thoughtful people if you just kind of look around, and you can get a lot of really good advice. I think my next thing would be to see what nonprofits can do to start leveraging volunteers. There's a lot of volunteers that are interested in marketing, that have some backgrounds that are just even an interest in it. And if you're not doing anything,
Elaine's got all kinds of time to help people.
Yeah.
So
I have 28 hours every day.
Just email Elaine. She'd be more than happy to come over and do.
She can do it all of it.
My friend Trenise with me.
Well, that's usually what happens. Is like if you get one of us, you get both of us. So there's that.
Hey, fair point. 2 for 1. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. But you know what, to that end though, I do think that that's a great point, in that there's a lot of sharing that goes around in the nonprofit community, which I think, there's a lot of, I guess, commiserating, we are in the same boat. We have a lot of things in common. but I also find that there's a lot of sharing amongst resources about what we know. And, I'm curious, are you still finding that too in your work with TechBridge? Are you still finding that, there's lots of nonprofits and with your podcast, lots of people who are still kind of sharing resources and want to help sort of all boats rise?
I find it not just in nonprofits. I actually find it also in the marketing community at large. I mean, I had a great conversation today. So I'm going to be launching yet another new podcast called Unleashing Potential here in the next few weeks. And one of my interviews was with the CMO of Park Mobile, which is one of the, largest navigation apps in the country. And he's just happy to hop on and just chat about marketing. Like I think there's just this kind of, we're in this together. We're figuring this out. We're sort of siblings in arms, as it were, figuring out marketing. And I think it's like that with technology. I think it's like that with nonprofits as well. So yeah, there's a lot of collaboration. And I always tell people, like, I talked to somebody else today and he said, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. I was like, well, you should schedule some time with me and we should talk about that for free, because I love podcasts and we can talk about that all day long. And, it's just because I love podcasts and I love the work that he's doing. So why not help him out?
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. So I'm wondering, like, technology wise, and you and I chatted about a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about, what's next. So what's next? Because technology changes all the time. And as you're talking to different marketers and with your work at TechBridge, what can nonprofits in particular be thinking about today that will sort of set them up for success in the future moving forward?
So I'll paint a picture for 10 years from now, I think, for this one, because I'm normally thinking 1 to 2 years out, but I think for this it'll be interesting to talk 10 years out. So 10 years out, mixed reality is going to be huge. Mixed reality glasses, mixed reality. I mean, there's even some contact lenses that they're working on now that you put, the contact lens in your eye and it superimposes screens to your eye that mix in with reality. And so down the road, I mean, or contact lenses or glasses or maybe face shields, honestly, with mixed reality, considering COVID-19, right? So down the road, you're walking down the street and if you have ads enabled, and if you're actually outside, then you might get an ad, as a part of a mixed reality thing that only you see and no one else sees. Or, I mean, there's all kinds of other possibilities for that. So I think that's going to be a huge opportunity for nonprofits that are in certain sectors, for sure. I can think it could be applicable to workforce training. It could be applicable to just, all kinds of different things. So I think that's going to be really big. I mean, we've talked virtual reality forever. We've talked augmented reality forever. I think it's going to be a mix of those two inside of a form factor that no one else notices is a weird looking device, basically.
Wow.
That's just cool, just thinking about kind of tying that with what you were talking about, what we all are, storytellers, on being able to give people experiences using that technology would be really, really cool, because you would be able to kind of drop somebody into your story versus just.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so for example, think about the history of Atlanta, and Atlanta has this massive civil rights history. I mean, just all this history. And if you could have a mixed reality application on your glasses and you walk through downtown Atlanta and you see, this is where this happened and this is where this marks for this, and there used to be a store owned by this person, like, that's a pretty interesting way to immerse people into the past and to help build a narrative and build a story. And so to your point, Trenise, I think there's a lot of opportunity there for storytelling.
So obviously everybody just needs to call us, because we're already 10 years we're 10 years. If we can get through 2020, then we're ahead of the game.
Listen, the other thing I'll back up, you mentioned the future. I mean, I think right now, to me, what's hot in this, just bear with me, this is going to sound crazy. I think email's big. Honestly, I think people are so inundated with tools. Email is ubiquitous. I see the wild, just massive success of Morning Brew, and Morning Brew is rolling out new newsletter after newsletter. I mean, they've got like 5 or 6 or 7 different newsletters now going out, and I think I'm subscribed to like all of them, and they're just unbelievable. I've even modeled the TechBridge newsletter after the Morning Brew newsletter, and every time we send out an email lately, like we've sent out 3 or 4, I'll get an email back from a board member like, "This is so great," and I'm like, "Thank you. I'm not actually doing it. It's really my team, but I'll take the credit." Actually, no, I don't take the credit. I tell them it's the team. But the reality, like, I think email is really going to be a big thing again, because everybody uses it, and there's not another app to download. There's not another thing to be inundated with.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? That's a really important point. I think not having another thing to do, which makes the interesting thing about the contacts sort of forward thinking in terms of you just have to put it in. There's
Mhm.
nothing that I don't have to wait for this to download. Oh, I don't have memory on my device. I don't have to get a new device.
Mhm.
It's just
Yeah.
it would be something that's sort of seamless that you would use every day, but gives you this whole wide other world, or
Yeah.
combines two worlds together, which is interesting. But
And I
yeah,
think
all
that's
of that.
And I think that's where it's going, right? I
Yeah.
think like all of the technology, it always starts off clunky and becomes seamless. I mean, so like even think back to like car phones that you had to install in your car, right? Like you had to take your car somewhere and have it physically installed in the car, and they'd run wires through the car and all that kind of stuff. And it was like a big expensive deal. And that's it's very problematic. And now it's seamless. Now it's an AirPod in my ear, and I tap it and I say call so and so, and it just does it. It becomes seamless, integrated in my life. I mean, that's where all of the technology goes. It always starts clunky, and then it makes its way to be fully integrated into our lifestyles, and that's where the augmented reality is going to come and everything else.
Yeah. And we all thought Alexa was crazy, spying on us all the time.
Don't
now
say
we're,
that.
now we're gonna
Don't
have
say
some in
that
our
word.
eyeball that's just gonna pop
Don't
up.
I
say
know.
that, because she's right here. She's going to start participating in this
You just
interview.
activated a lot of stuff right there.
Oh, I
So be
did.
careful.
Oh, yeah. Like everybody, I figure I got rid of my Alexa for that very reason.
Stop saying her name.
Spying on me. But now I've been around so many other people who have it. It's like there's no way. By the way,
Yeah.
Siri's got all of this anyway too. So
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
there's no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
I'm like,
there.
stop saying her name. She's going to wake up and start talking
But
to us.
she's already
in a minute.
awake. Trust.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's not participating in the conversation at this point, so we'll let her stay
True.
quiet.
I mean, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Man, this is really cool and informational, Adam. I love that you are providing so many resources to nonprofits and to really anybody who wants to learn about marketing. What's the best way for people to get in contact with you, to learn more about what you have going on, maybe to even be a guest on your podcast, or just to tune in to one of like the 8,000 that you're doing today? Like how do you catch up with Adam?
Yeah, best bet is the website, adamjwalker.com. I'll say it one more time just for good effect, right? adamjwalker.com. It's got links to all of my social profiles, at least the ones that are public. It's got links to my Medium writing. It's got links to all my podcasts. I think also Real Pink's on there. So it's got links to the Real Pink, the Komen podcast. So yeah, you can find me there. I think there's a contact form there too. So happy to connect anytime.
Fantastic. Well, always a great wealth of information. I love that you have a heart for nonprofits. 4848 is just fantastic. I cannot say enough for nonprofits. If you do not have a website, it's a great resource for you to get one, and get one quickly. But that is, first step. You don't have a website. That's going to be one of the things that you're going to want to get before you do all of this other stuff. But Adam, thanks for your time today. We appreciate it. We love that you're such a great friend to the Good Work Show, and we're excited to continue working with you and the TechBridge team, and on anything else that you need from us from a nonprofit and marketing perspective. Gotcha.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm so glad to be here.